Have you ever noticed how the most powerful people in a room are often the ones who say the least? They sit there, observing everything, while everyone else scrambles to fill the air with words. And in that quiet, they build an aura of mystery that draws others in, making people wonder what's really going on behind those calm eyes. That's the essence of what we're diving into today, the Stoic Art of Stealth. It's not about sneaking around in the shadows like some spy thriller. No, it's about mastering the power of silence, controlling what you reveal, and letting your actions do the talking. In a world where everyone overshares on social media and argues just to hear their own voice, this ancient wisdom feels more relevant than ever. It can change how you handle relationships, work, and even your own inner chaos. So, stick with me as we unpack this step by step, drawing straight from the Stoics themselves, the philosophers who lived this stuff thousands of years ago and left us timeless lessons. Let's start with the basics. Stoicism isn't some dusty old philosophy locked away in books. It's a practical way of living that helps you stay steady, no matter what life throws at you. The big names here are Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who jotted down his thoughts in a journal we now call Meditations; Epictetus, a former slave who became a teacher and gave us the Enchiridion, which is like a handbook for life; and Seneca, an advisor to emperors whose letters from a Stoic are full of real-talk advice to his friend Lucilius. These guys weren't just thinkers. They faced wars, betrayals, illnesses, and power struggles. And through it all, they emphasize that true strength comes from within, not from blabbing about your plans or reacting to every little provocation. Take silence, for instance. It's not about being shy or antisocial. It's a deliberate choice, a tool for self-protection and focus. Epictetus put it plainly in his Enchiridion. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Think about that for a second. In the Enchiridion, which is basically a collection of short, punchy lessons compiled by his student Arrian, Epictetus warns against loose talk because it often leads to trouble. He tells a story in his discourses, though it's more of a teaching moment about how people who chatter endlessly end up revealing things they shouldn't, like their weaknesses or secrets. Imagine you're in a heated argument at work. Instead of firing back with every thought in your head, you pause, stay quiet, and just observe. Suddenly, the other person starts fumbling, filling the silence with more words, maybe even exposing their own flaws. That's stealth in action, using quiet to gain the upper hand without lifting a finger. Marcus Aurelius echoes this in his Meditations. He was ruling an empire, dealing with plagues and invasions, yet he wrote to himself about the importance of not getting dragged into gossip or unnecessary debates. In Book 4, he says something like, "Let your actions be your voice, and keep your thoughts to yourself until they're ready." Okay, not an exact quote, but close. He actually writes, "Do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. Cold or warm, tired or well-rested, despised or honored." The point is, he practiced this stealth by not broadcasting his every move. History tells us Marcus didn't boast about his victories or complain about his pains. In the books, like when he reflects on his adoptive father Antoninus Pius, he admires how the man handled power quietly, without fanfare. Antoninus would listen more than he spoke in council meetings, letting others reveal their intentions while he planned his next step. Marcus learned from that and applied it during the Marcomannic Wars, where he led armies but kept his strategies close, not spilling them to just anyone. It's like playing chess. You don't announce your moves. You let the board speak for itself. Now, Seneca takes this even further in his Letters from a Stoic. These are actual letters he wrote to his buddy Lucilius, who's climbing the political ladder in Rome. Seneca warns him repeatedly about the dangers of oversharing. In Letter 3, he says, Trusting everyone is as great a fault as trusting no one. He advises Lucilius to be selective with words, especially in a cutthroat place like ancient Rome, where spies and rivals were everywhere. Seneca himself lived this. He was Nero's advisor, walking a tightrope between influence and danger. In the letters, he describes how he withdrew from public life at times, going into a kind of stealth mode to protect his peace. He tells a tale in letter 18 about attending festivals, but not getting swept up in the crowd's noise. Instead, he observes quietly, learning from the chaos without adding to it. It's entertaining to think of Seneca at a Roman party, sipping wine, nodding along, while mentally noting everyone's follies. He didn't need to dominate the conversation to command respect. His quiet presence did that. Why does this work? Because when you stay quiet, you create mystery. People start wondering about you. What's he thinking? What's her plan? In today's terms, it's like not posting every detail of your life online. Let them scroll and speculate while you focus on building something real. The Stoics knew that noise distracts you from what's important. Epictetus in the Enchiridion compares life to a banquet. Don't grab everything. Take what's offered and pass it on gracefully. If you blab about wanting the biggest slice, you look greedy and weak. Instead, stay stealthy, observe who takes what, and position yourself wisely. In one of his discourses, he talks about a student who kept complaining about his problems. Epictetus shuts him down. Stop talking and start acting. The lesson? Words without deeds are empty. Stealth means aligning your quiet with purposeful action. Let's make this concrete with some everyday examples tied back to the Stoics. Say you're dealing with a toxic friend who loves drama. Instead of explaining why you're upset or arguing back, you go quiet. Pull a Marcus Aurelius reflect inwardly, as he did in Meditations, Book 9, where he reminds himself that others' flaws are their own burden, not yours. By not reacting, you starve the drama of oxygen. They wonder why you're not biting, and often they back off or reveal more about themselves. Or at work, during a meeting where ideas are flying. Channel Seneca from Letter 43. Live as if the whole world were watching, but speak as if no one is listening. Don't rush to share your brilliant plan. Listen first. In the letters, Seneca describes how he watched courtiers babble to impress Nero, only to trip themselves up. He stayed stealthy, offering advice only when asked, which made his words carry more weight. Another angle. Stealth helps with self-mastery. The Stoics were big on controlling emotions, and silence is key. Epictetus in Enchiridion 33 advises, "Be silent as to services you have rendered, but speak of favors you have received. Don't brag about your good deeds. Let them stand alone." This creates an air of humility and mystery. People wonder about your motives, but in a good way, they see you as deep, not showy. Marcus applied this in his life. Despite being emperor, he didn't parade his philanthropy. In Meditations, Book 5, he writes about doing good without expectation of praise, stealthily improving the world. Seneca, in Letter 52, warns against the tongue's incontinence, urging Lucilius to practice restraint like a soldier in ambush, quiet until the moment strikes. Think about how this plays out in relationships. If you're dating someone, don't spill your entire life story on the first date. Let mystery build attraction. The Stoics didn't write romance novels, but their principles apply. Epictetus in Discourses, Book 3, talks about not revealing your hand too soon in negotiations. Same for love. Stay quiet about past heartbreaks. Focus on the present. Seneca in Letter 9 discusses friendship. True bonds form through shared silence, not constant chatter. He recounts quiet walks with friends, where understanding deepens without words. And what about personal growth? Stealth means working on yourself quietly. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations as private notes, never intending publication. It's full of self-pep talks, like in Book 2. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. He practiced stealth by journaling instead of venting publicly. Epictetus encouraged students to internalize lessons silently before applying them. In Enchiridion 46, he mocks those who proclaim themselves philosophers, but act foolishly better to embody it quietly. Of course, silence isn't always easy. The Stoics acknowledge that. Seneca in Letter 56 describes noisy neighbors disturbing his study, but he trains himself to ignore it, turning inward. That's stealth resilience, tuning out external noise to protect your inner world. Marcus faced betrayal from Avidius Cassius, a general who rebelled. Instead of raging publicly, he handled it quietly, offering forgiveness if Cassius surrendered. In Meditations Book 1, he credits his calm to Stoic training. Wrapping this up, the Stoic Art of Stealth, being quiet and letting them wonder, is about reclaiming your power. It's drawing from Epictetus's discipline, Marcus's reflection, and Seneca's wisdom to navigate life with grace. Practice it daily. In conversations, listen more. In conflicts, pause before responding. In ambitions, work silently until results shine. You'll find peace, respect, and that intriguing mystery that makes people lean in. If this resonated, hit that subscribe button for more dives into Stoic living. Share this with someone who talks too much; they might thank you later. And drop a comment. What's one area of your life where you'll try this stealth approach? Let's keep the conversation going. Quietly, of course. Thanks for watching. Stay strong out there.